Hello, my beautiful people. How are you all doing today? It's your girl, Blessing Jennifer. You're welcome to this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms so you can stay tuned to the content that is shared here. And today, I'm going to be sharing today's topic with you, which is all about understanding anger and how to control your temper. This is a subject that I am quite passionate about because it's an everyday emotion that we have to deal with, and it's important that we understand what is anger, what is it, and how, because when we understand it, we will know how best to control it, and we will know how best to control your temper. And as you know, on this channel is all about sharing life tips, wisdom from God that helps you to live each day and be a better version of yourself every single day, because we are all about purposeful living here. And the content I share here are not only for Christians or people of faith. This content is meant for people who don't believe in God, who don't even know God. This content is also for you guys, and I want you to see the love of God, to see the beauty in having a relationship with God, because all your heart desires are met in God. And I believe that all of man's journey on this earth is in search of that void, feeling that void that we all feel in our soul, in our spirit. And it's a God-shaped hole, like one of the songs says. It's a God-shaped hole in all of us. It's a God-shaped hole that only God himself can fill. And I am passionate about sharing the truth of God and the gospel to people who are not of faith, because I believe these are the people that should get the content and should see God. Like, I want this video to be listened to by people who believe in God and those who don't, and everyone's life is transformed at the end of the day. That is my heart desire, that's my goal, and that's what I am here to do. And I am not just sharing content every week anymore. I am sharing prayer content, meaning I invest prayerfully into the content that I bring to you all. And I know that your life will be transformed, and there will be a fire that lights up in your soul that will bring you closer to the truth that you seek, and that truth is God. And you will find him, and you will find peace, joy, and happiness in him, because in him there is fullness of joy. There is everything good is in God. So now we're gonna go into today's topic. So today's topic is actually a very interesting one. It's, like I said earlier, it's an emotion that we all experience every day. Sometimes we don't even know what is going to trigger us and make us angry. But if we understand what anger is and just a simple definition, you will be able to say, okay, at least you can identify when you are angry. So I did a little research to understand this emotion, and anger is explained as a strong feeling of hostility, annoyance, displeasure, which is directed to someone or something that we feel has deliberately hurt us. So the offended feels that an offense was done to them intentionally. So you feel a strong hostility, like you just feel bad energy, you feel annoyance, you feel displeasure. And this strong emotion that is evoked in us leads us to take actions that are hostile most times to the people that we feel has offended us. And anger is also often referred to as a reaction, right? So anger is more of a reaction and a distraction from inner suffering. So the person who is angry at someone or something that they feel has offended them, most times, if not definitely, what is happening to that person is that anger is not so much about the person or the thing that has offended them. It's actually a reaction or a distraction of an internal emotion or internal suffering that the person is going through. So it's more like you already have a wound and someone comes and scratch that wound, and then you burst into wailing, not like just crying, like you are wailing. Now, is it the fact that the person scratched your wound, or you already have a wound there? That's the real problem. So anger is just like what we see on the outside, but it's more of a max of what's happening internally, and that inner suffering that the offended person feel, it stems from other emotions like sadness, a feeling of powerlessness, a feeling of shame, or you're suffering from anxiety, or a feeling of inadequacy, or a feeling of isolation. So now understanding this, that it's actually an inner suffering. So when you are angry, you need to realize that, okay, there is something going on within me. It's not just this outburst, right? There is something internal that I am not focusing on, that I'm not paying attention to, that is actually going on. So when you see yourself experience anger over even a minor thing, the first question you should ask yourself is, what am I really feeling? Because anger is just, I believe anger is more of a secondary emotion, right? And there is something underlying, that there's something under that we're not paying attention to, but actually exists. And that's what's fueling that anger. So anything anyone does to you, it's not the real culprit, right? It's that feeling of whatever is going on. Like, look at this suffering, sadness. It could be you're sad about where you are in life, or you're feeling inadequate, or you're having a really bad relationship and it's affecting everything, and then you go to work, someone says something to you and you snap at the person. It's not the person at work, it's what's going on in your home that's really the cause. And you feel powerless to solve that situation, or you feel like, oh God, I can't help the situation, I just have to deal with it. But then in dealing with it, you're gonna experience a reaction, and that reaction is gonna be anger, right, to other things that happen with you. So I'm gonna be sharing how do we handle anger, right? I have posted other contents on anger where I share strategies on how you can handle anger, and this video is going to be a little from a different perspective, because it's, like I said, these are prayer content, right? So if you have a Bible with you, you can open it and you can read this scriptures that I want to call out. James 1 verse 19 to 20, Ecclesiastes 7 verse 9, Proverbs 29 verse 11. So I'm going to explain the revelation I got from this, and it's one of the strategies you can use in managing anger, right? You cannot not get angry. In fact, being angry is not the problem, because you're going to experience anger. There's things that's going to trigger you. It's not the trigger that's the problem. It's our reaction to the trigger. It's how volatile we become, or the actions that we actually take when we are angry, that is the real problem, not the anger itself. The anger itself is just an emotion, just a really strong, intense emotion you're experiencing. But You are the one who chooses how you are going to respond, how you are going to act, right? But most times people don't take this responsibility, because most times they fail to realize that they are angry. And even when they know that they are angry, they fail to come up with a strategy on how to handle that anger that they are feeling, because you're feeling hostile, right? You want to respond in an hostile way, but you have the power to choose how you're going to respond. You don't have to be hostile because you are angry. Yes, something unfair happened, but you don't have to be hostile in your response. So how do we change that hostility to goodness, to a positive response, even though we feel like we should be hostile? So James 1 verse 19 says, I'm just gonna go to the key point here. It says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. So, or slow to get angry, using I'm reading the New Living Translation. So Ecclesiastes 7 verse 9 says, control your temper, for anger labels you a fool. Now Proverbs 29 verse 11 says, fools vent their anger, but the wise quietly hold it back. Now, so if we can see the relationship here with anger, there is a need of excessive expression, more of an explosion, right? So you feel the anger, but you are not supposed to vent. This Proverb 29 verse 11 in the New King James Version, it says, fools vent all. A fool vent all his feelings, like all his feelings. So you just want to pour out all your feelings. And some people are like, what is wrong in me pouring out my feelings? Because your feelings are unfiltered. Your feelings are raw. Your feelings are highly unprocessed. So you're not supposed to vent all your feelings. That's not the point. You're not supposed to vent all your feelings. You are supposed to come up with a calculated, strategic response. So these scriptures I've shared here gives us a strategy on how we should manage our anger, our temper. The first thing it tells us is that we should listen. And you know, it's so hard in this day and time for people to listen to others. We all want to express our own opinion. And if we truly listen, we might realize our opinions are not even that different. So you want to make it a point of duty to listen. So if someone is saying something at you, listen to them, like literally listen to them. And it's so simple to listen. All you just have to do is close your mouth, open your ears, and look at the person when they're talking. Give them your attention. But most times we open our mouth, close our ears, and we don't even pay attention to the people. So you should listen. So the person says, oh, you're a fool, you don't know how to do your work, blah, 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 all these things. Listen to the information that they are giving to you. You might just find the solution you need to that problem, right? So listen. Actually listen to the whole argument or the whole point of contention. Be slow to speak. So you've listened and you have a window and an opportunity to respond. we are to be slow to speak. So, if have you ever observed yourself when you are angry? Guess what you do? You tend to hyperventilate. What do I mean? You talk so fast. You speak so fast. Your breaths are shorter because you are pouring out all your feelings all at once. It's almost like you are pouring a tank of water through a little pipe. And what's gonna happen? That pipe is probably gonna bust. It's gonna get damaged, and the water is gonna spill everywhere. That's what anger looks like. So you want to speak slowly. So you could pick the different points that the person has said. So you listen. So you got all the points of concern that the other person shared, though not in maybe a nice way, but you got the points, and you can respond by speaking slowly. So you can say, okay, to this point that you said, to this point that you said. So the person will even realize that, oh, this person listened to me. And you listen unemotionally, meaning that you took note of the points, and then you come up with a response to those points. So let's say someone says, I think you are lazy, you don't work, you don't do this very well, and you noted those points. So you can say, to the point where you talked about me being lazy, can you elaborate? To the point where you say, I don't do this, can you expatiate? It becomes more of a conversation, because when we are angry, we don't converse, we attack, we argue. We don't want to listen to the other person's argument. We're just talking loudly most times. So, and you need to not vent. And venting has a lot to do with speaking, because when you vent, you want to speak or pour everything, all your feelings. You're not supposed to pour all your feelings, especially when you haven't filtered it. I don't know how many of you know how rice is being produced, right? So they grow them in this swampy area most times, and during the harvest, the grains of the rice stalks sometimes come with stones, right? But the rice that you buy, the packaged rice that you buy in the store, guess what? It has no sand. They've passed through rigorous food safety measures to ensure that you don't buy that rice with any sand in it, right? Or stones or debris or anything in it, right? But imagine if that rice came to you just the way it was from the farm. What are you going to experience? You're going to have an unpleasant dinner, because you might just be chewing on your rice and you do crump, crump, and that's terrible. It could break your teeth, it could cause you some unknown disease, or it's just an unpleasant experience altogether, right? So what do the producers and the farmers do? They pass the rice stalks through intensive filtration process to ensure that it's just rice grains you get. The same way, we need to filter out the emotions we feel, because hostile reaction will give you hostile result. There's no way you're going to get a good result from whoever you are going at or whatever you're trying to do, because, or even if it's just a thing, imagine you're angry, you hit your leg on the door, and then in that anger you hit something, and then guess what? You just broke your most expensive flower vase, or you even threw your phone in anger, and guess what? Now you don't have a phone. You don't have a phone to use to do your other important things. That's what anger does. So we need to filter out our feeling. And to filter out your feeling, it needs you to keep your mouth shut. Like literally, it says, but the wise quietly hold it back. You need to get quiet. Like literally, you need to get quiet. When they tell you to calm down, what do they tell you to do? It means breathe and keep quiet. And keep quiet and quiet all the noise. Breathe. Hold it in. You need to quiet that emotion down, because you cannot respond positively in that heightened emotional state. So it's not right for us to vent every single thing we're feeling, because it's not true. Like, you see a lot of people, they say a lot of mean things, terrible stuff when they're angry. And guess what they say when they all actually calm down? They will say, I didn't mean that. Why are you saying what you don't mean? Sometimes people get so angry, they say really derogatory stuff about their friends, their relationship partner, their workers, their boss, whoever. You say very mean, derogative things. Only when you are calm and in, a good place, you start apologizing for what you said when you were angry, and you said, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. But the hurt has already been done. And responding in anger just causes a vicious cycle. So someone hurt you, then you hurt them, and then they want to hurt you back, and then who's going to stop the cycle? Someone has to be mature enough to end that cycle. So that's why it's really important you learn to control your temper. And the strategies I've shared with you here, they are really biblical principles that work every time, right? And it's just simple. Listen to the argument or the discussion dispassionately. Don't take it personal. Just listen. Note the point and wait till you are able to speak. Don't interrupt the person. Let them finish. Let them finish. And when you get an opportunity to speak slowly. Literally speak slowly. And when you do this, guess what? You're going to be slow to anger. If you're able to do the first two steps, you are definitely going to be slow to anger. You're going to be slow to anger. And like in my other video, I told you, one of the strategies I use in managing my anger is keeping my eyes on the result I want. Because you should have a result. Because when you're focused on the result, what type of result you want, you are not going to respond just anyhow. You're going to filter out how you respond. You're going to process that whole thing you received and process it in a you're going to be wise about it. You're going to choose rightly how to respond, and give yourself time to calm down. You don't have to respond immediately. You have to give yourself time to calm down. So guys, managing anger, this will be a topic that you'll be getting more content on in this month, and there is so much more insight I have around anger and managing anger, and it's an emotion that I'm very familiar with, right? I'm very familiar with that emotion, and I'm not an explosive. I don't get explosive when I'm angry. It's more of internal, either way is destructive, and over the years I've worked on myself. I've worked on myself. I have studied myself. Managing anger has a lot to do with self-awareness. You need to be self-aware. You need to study your own patterns. What conditions are you under and you will get triggered? I make sure I eat well every day, because when I'm extremely hungry, I'm angry. I'm going to be more volatile. You know, you need to study yourself, right? So, and that has a lot to do with listening and speaking, which are the strategies we're sharing in this video. This is more like the strategies you use in that moment when you're already angry. But these are things, these other strategies of self-awareness are things you do before you even get into that situation. So more content will be coming on anger in this month, and it's going to be insightful. Most of my ideas come to me as I'm speaking. I do enjoy talking, and I get a lot of inspiration as I speak. So just put in the comments what you picked, what you learned, what touched you, what wisdom you picked from this video. And I know, and definitely I'm sure that this video will change your life in a positive way and give you the desired result that God intends for your life. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. And if you are looking for a relationship with God, I want you to know that God loves you, Jesus loves you so much, and just pray with me and say, Jesus, I receive you into my life. I receive you into my heart. Come and be the Lord and Savior of my life. And from this day forward, I'm going to seek you, I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to do that which pleases you. And that's it for this video, guys. See you in the next video, and stay blessed.